Carrie, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start off by, you guys have a very creative name, ABCD Mentor. Let's start off by, what does that stand for?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are after breast cancer diagnosis, or ABCD. We are part of the breast cancer community in the fact that we offer peer-to-peer support. So you'll notice there's not a lot of pink in our name or in our logo because we do want to be inclusive of everybody. And we do know that pink triggers some people, but we're also very happy to be supportive of those that love pink and that have pink in their name as well.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I guess, we've worked with so many different people, but I didn't notice that, yeah, pink is not necessarily like your main sort of thing. So you say you focus heavily on peer-to-peer support. How does that whole process work in just peer-to-peer support?
Yeah, taking you back to kind of our founding. So we were founded in 1999. We are a national organization, but we were founded founded and grounded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So what happened was our founder was a nationally recognized broadcast journalist, and she announced her breast cancer diagnosis on air in the Milwaukee area. Once she did that, the station was flooded with calls where people that were like, I don't know anybody like me. I don't know anyone that's had this diagnosis. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to ask. We don't know what we don't know. So as she was receiving these calls, she came up with this wonderful idea of ABCD, or this peer-to-peer mentoring support. So people that have walked this path before and that have understood the terms. They can give people a complement to their medical care. So maybe what questions to ask in appointments, or what is this realistically going to look like when I'm at home and my doctor doesn't know what my life looks like, what my stage in life is. If I'm an older person, or if I'm a young mom with kids, or if I'm a male and I have male breast cancer. And how is that going to affect my work life, my family? And all of us have unique situations. So she really wanted that to be the concept or the grounding of what ABCD provided. So she then left her broadcast journalist job about a year and a half later to start ABCD and really get it off the ground. And so 27 years later, we're still doing exactly what she wanted us to do. So Melody Wilson Oldenburg is responsible for this. Unfortunately, Melody did pass from metastatic breast cancer. But we continue to carry her legacy on every day. We are a little different in that we've been doing the same thing for 27 years. We continue to evolve and make it better, but we're not trying to be all things to all people. We're just really here to match people up and make sure that they're getting in touch with someone that's almost exactly like they are, and or were like they were when they received their diagnosis.
So you talk about, you guys have been doing the same thing for 27 years and been doing it very well from what I've seen. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Uh, do you guys have any specific people that you kind of service more than others, or is it really anyone with a breast cancer diagnosis that you can serve?
Yeah, it's really anyone with a breast cancer diagnosis. And the good thing about our name is, as I said, we have been doing the same thing for 27 years, but we've been able to really encompass all of the people that come to us. So yes, after a breast cancer diagnosis, the first thing that comes to mind is someone, a patient that has been diagnosed with this. But also, what about the people that have received this diagnosis alongside a loved one, or just need support themselves? So after breast cancer diagnosis is anyone that's received this, and the after. So that after could be the next day after, it could be 20 years after, and we maybe still need that support. And that's what we're here to do. So we've really expanded those support services outside of just the patient.
So you guys do caregiver peer-to-peer matching as
Mm-hmm.
well?
Yeah, so we really try to cover the spectrum. So we support people that are previvors, and we can get into that a little bit since that's a newer program we have, all the way through people living with metastatic disease, caregivers, which would include friends, family, any support family that you have embraced or that are there walking this alongside you. Yeah, and just again, anyone that needs some kind of emotional support. to really help them navigate through this, whether it's for themselves or for a loved one.
Wow. So you mentioned that you have a lot of mentors that are, matching up with these potentially newly diagnosed women or men.
Yes.
How many mentors do you guys have in your organization?
Yeah, so right now across the country, we have about 315 mentors. We do train mentors, so we have training classes once a month, and we do specific trainings to different subgroups in the community. I mentioned previvors, I mentioned caregivers, people living with metastatic disease or MBC, stage 4, male breast cancer, survivors and thrivers, and caregivers and friends and family. So we really try to make sure that each facet of people that have gone through this and want to then turn around and give back or help the next person navigate, the training is available and accessible to them.
So if anyone goes on to ABCD right now, they request to be matched. Are they being matched with only mentors or potentially also other people that have been diagnosed?
So the great thing about our program is you can be matched with anyone at any time. So you are going to be matched with a mentor, because to become a mentor, we do ask that you're a year away from any active treatments or surgeries, excluding people living with MBC, because we know that they are on some type of treatment for the rest of their lives. So, but in the main concept of it, it's we want people that are a little bit removed or have been living with us for a while, that are ready emotionally and physically to support someone else, because it is asking a lot. We are so grateful for our mentors who volunteer their time to support the next person, but it can be triggering. It can be emotionally heavy. And sometimes there's things that they need to help navigate for that person, where we pull in other partners and resources.
So if somebody wanted to become a mentor, you said you have the monthly trainings, but is there kind of an upfront process as well, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we try to make it really simple. We have a 3-part training process. So the first thing is, just like you said, they can either call in and leave a message, they can go on our website and fill out the form, and then we will contact them about the next training class that's applicable to them. We do an interview, again, to just assess what they can expect from ABCD in our community. We want to make sure that they understand that. And then to make sure that we think that they're ready, right? So again, I mentioned emotionally and physically, and in the stage of their life. But the good thing about our program is it's very customizable. You don't have to mentor a certain amount of people. You don't have to be available 24/7. We really can take what you're willing to give and work it into matching you with someone, because there is someone for everybody, whether you, as I mentioned, have young kids, or maybe you just retired and you were going to go travel with your partner or your spouse or your friends and family, and now you're finding yourself here. Chances are we have someone with that unique lived experience that we can match you with. So back to the third part of our training is we then ask all of the people in that class to come together for virtual training. So again, if I skipped over a little bit, the first part is an interview. Then we send some modules to watch. They are self-guided. They're not super long. You can watch them anywhere you have an internet connection, even at the library. We send you links, they're YouTube videos. And then, as I mentioned, the third part is coming together to do a virtual Zoom meetup, where again, we answer any questions. We do a little role playing. We talk about scenarios, and then you're trained, your mentorship is turned on, and you're ready to go. We always ask you if you're ready to take a match for us. If you're not, that's fine. As I mentioned, there's no check marks, there's no expectations. If you help one person ever, what is that saying? To one person, you're the world. So that's what we really go with. You can pause your mentorship at any time. You might have a work trip, or your kids might be graduating, or maybe they have a lot going on with sports. And you can say, hey, we just need to pause for a few months. You can tell us that. We will take care of it. You don't need to remind us. We have a very robust system that will remind the staff to say, hey, Adam, are you ready to turn your mentorship back on? And you can say, sure, I am. Or nope, I still need to be paused. And at any time, if you feel like this has served you well and you're ready to move into a different facet, whether volunteering in a different way with ABCD or other organizations, we can retire you quietly out of the program. You don't ever stop being a mentor with ABCD, but you just stop being asked to take matches.
Amazing. Now, matching, right? How does that work? If I am somebody that might be newly diagnosed, or maybe, there's been a recurrence or anything in between, and I've decided, what, I want to be matched with somebody, what process am I going to go through?
So very similar to becoming a mentor, you can go on our website and fill out a form to get support. You can also call our 1-800 number. You can email us, or you can be referred by another organization. One of our match specialists, myself included, there are 4 of us, will get back to you within 24 business hours. So you will get it very quickly, a return on your call or your submission. We will then set up time to do an intake call. So as I mentioned, the interview with the mentors, we want to do an intake call with our participants or your support seekers, because we really want to know where you're at. Where are you in your diagnosis? What is most important right now? And it might not even be the breast cancer. It might be, I don't know how to tell my job, or I'm having some insurance frustrations, or what books are out there for my kids, or, I have this really difficult family member that keeps telling me to drink, the next best miracle cure. And I don't want to listen to that. So sometimes it's even outside of those things, and it's just a unique lived experience. We have mentors that have been caregivers for parents while they receive their diagnosis, been going through divorces, their houses have burnt down. There's also these really heavy life things. And then you throw a breast cancer diagnosis on top of it. Chances are we have someone that actually went through that as well. We get many calls from people that are like, there's no way you're going to be able to match me on this. And chances are we can. So it really does our heart good to be able to talk to these people as a staff and then get them matched with the exact right person. Again, I mentioned our robust system. All of our mentors go into that system. It helps us pull the best matches possible based on the information that the support seeker or participant provides. Then we have a few choices. And again, this is where the humanity comes into it. We know, because we've talked to the mentors and we have a good relationship with them, if we feel like the personalities are going to match, if we feel like it's going to be a great relatable conversation, and they're both going to get something out of it. Because at the end of the day, not only do we want that person seeking support to feel valued, to feel heard, and to get what they need, but we also want the mentor to feel healed a little more by helping someone else because of what they went through.
Yeah, that's a great segue, because that was my next question: is how much value do you think that the mentors really do get out of, kind of giving back in a way?
Yeah, I think it's tremendous. Like for myself, I was diagnosed almost 13 years ago, and I didn't know about ABCD at my diagnosis. So I really didn't have a mentor myself, but found out about it a couple years later and really thought, I'd be interested in being a mentor. So I signed up and started mentoring. And I can tell you, it just was amazing to me to hear my own voice, tell my story, and understand how strong I had been, what I had been through. And even the fact that I could give myself grace, because there were times that were really hard and I struggled. And so every time I tell that story, every time I'm able to help someone by just giving them a tip or a trick, or being able to help them advocate for what they want with their medical team or their friends and family, it just reinforces that this happened and it's important and I got through it. And now it's my turn to help the next person. So I really feel like all of our mentors feel some part of that, and it helps them every day to just continue to move forward in their own healing process.
I could see that providing a lot of different value and a lot of internal reward there.
Yeah.
On the other side of the coin, is there any research or studies that have been done out there about the value of peer-to-peer support?
Absolutely. So there's many different articles and research that has been provided. I don't have any links to provide to you, but we can in the future if you'd like. But yeah, definitely people who seek out and receive emotional support from someone that is an empathetic situation. I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. So you can receive sympathy from your friends, your family, your coworkers, but unless you have gone through this, you can't provide the empathy that someone might need. that from someone that understands exactly where you are in a point in time. So by providing that empathy, and getting that emotional support, people are much more likely to finish treatments, because we all know they're very hard. You could be in the middle of chemo and just be like, gosh, I really can't do this anymore. You have somebody that can champion you. You have somebody that can help give you some tips. You can even have someone tell you, hey, if you need to take a break, it's okay to ask your medical provider. But they're much more likely to finish those processes, and to continue on than people that don't seek out emotional support. So that's really one area that we focus on a lot, is emotional support is so important to your mental and physical health, that we know and research has shown that it does provide better outcomes for patients.
With all of those benefits, how many people have you guys been able to serve over the past 27 years?
Oh my gosh, that number is in the thousands, quite honestly. But just last year alone, which was our highest year, was almost 1,000 people. So I think we were at like 990 people that we had matched with a mentor. Now, again, I mentioned we had 315, almost 20 mentors right now. Last year, we were probably sitting right around 275 to 300. So each one of those mentors received, right, that times matches. So you're going to be as involved as you want to. Some of our mentors have mentored over maybe the last 3 years of their mentorship 40 people. Some have only mentored 3, but we look at them each the same because they're both providing the best possible version of themselves to help the person that's calling.
So you said the numbers have increased. Do you see that as an increase in demand because of the awareness that you guys have been able to raise about your program, or is that anything that might be related to breast cancer in general?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, being able to partner with amazing organizations that can refer people over to us to make sure that healthcare providers understand that this really needs to be standard of care, that emotional support needs to go alongside medical care. And so reaching out to healthcare providers, which is what a lot of my colleagues do, is making sure that they're aware that they can refer people directly as well. Just word of mouth has traveled a lot. Many of our participants, or again, support seekers, about 30% of them return to become mentors themselves. So it's just really a testament to the support that they got, that they want to come back after they're finished with their treatments and they're emotionally and physically ready to give back, that they choose us to come back to.
That is an incredible number. 30% come back to be mentors. That's very impressive. You mentioned something that I wanted to touch on, is the partners. You guys partner with a lot of other nonprofits and organizations out there. What are a couple of those organizations, if people might be a part of them already, and how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we partner with a lot of national organizations, which many people in the breast cancer community know about. So Susan G. Komen, Young Survival Coalition, SHARE, Cancer Support, Cancer Care Network, and then all the way down, though, to the smaller, maybe more local, regional locations. So Keepers of the Flame is a great one in Savannah, Georgia. Sisters Network across the U.S., Touch Breast Cancer Support. People that are in different areas of the country, whether it's rural, whether they're urban, whether it's different demographics, ethnicities, cultures, we really want to make sure that we are good partners and stewards of what we do to make sure that we can go alongside them and, one, promote their services and resources. As I mentioned, we aren't trying to be all things to all people, but then also understand that we're here to help alongside them if they don't have a peer-to-peer support program, that we can actually facilitate and do that for them. So whether you're a local, small grassroots organization or you're someone like Susan G. Komen, we're here to help support you and get people that are coming to you the peer-to-peer support that they need.
Amazing. There's a term that I wanted to ask you about that I've been hearing a little bit more and more as we've been growing the breast cancer community on Dreamers Health, and that is previvors.
Sure.
Can you tell me a little bit more about, you mentioned it earlier. Can you tell me a little bit more about who is a previvor and what you guys might be doing to help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So about 1.5 years ago, we embraced previvor training and previvor mentors, because there are a lot of people out there. And the previvor term came from an organization called FORCE, or Facing Our Risk of Cancer Empowered. FORCE is a great organization, and they coined the term previvor, which is pretty common today. A lot of organizations use it. What that means is someone, one, with either a very strong genetic variant, whether it's the BRCA1 or BRCA2, which are the pretty common ones. There are many of them now. There are the researchers have done a great job in diligently identifying many more than just the BRCA gene variants. So it's someone that might have that. Myself, I have the BRCA2. I didn't know that when I was diagnosed. My father actually had it. He had prostate cancer, and that's where my breast cancer came from. So it's very fascinating to me. Now, had I known I had that before my diagnosis, I could have taken steps to do screenings, to maybe have prophylactic surgeries, to be on medications. And so that's one group of previvors. The other group are people that maybe don't have genetic variants, but they have a very strong family history. They might have dense breast tissue. They might have had some atypical cells in the past. So they're under a much more rigorous screening process, maybe annually or biannually, just to make sure that if it's time to take action or make some decisions, that they know about that. So there's really two sides of that. But we encompass and train all of them because, again, that term previvor just means someone that hasn't had a formal breast cancer diagnosis, but is very likely to at some point.
Amazing. That's a very strong subset of people, I feel like, too, that, and from everything that I know, you can do a lot of preventative things to help, especially also in just the screenings to catch it early on. Now, if somebody wanted to support ABCD, how do you guys get your funding? How can they support? How does that all work?
Yeah, so again, a lot of our funding, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. So a lot of our funding comes from private donors, from industry partners, from our fundraising efforts. Anyone can donate. Any amount is, we are extremely grateful for. You can do that on our website, or you can come to our events, virtual or in person, or again, make a donation in honor of someone, even yourself. And then just, again, partnering with industry partners, other cancer support organizations. It is a nonstop process. We always are looking for funding because our services are completely free and have been free for 27 years. So we don't charge anything. We want to make sure that people are matched with as many mentors as they want to. So you don't just get one mentor. It's not just a one and done conversation. We are really here to match you with as many people as you want. And why would someone need more than one mentor? Well, if you're making a surgery decision and one person made this decision and one person made another decision, you might need two, right? There's a lot of situations where that comes into play. And again, you can talk to as many people as you want to. You can talk to us now when you're in the middle of treatment or surgery, and then you might be okay. And then 5 years from now, you're not doing so okay. Maybe your medicine has stopped. Maybe you're having a recurrence. Maybe you're having just a scare, or another person is now having this and it's triggering some things. Come back to ABCD, we can match you with a mentor, and we can just talk through some of those things.
Carrie, in closing, is there anything else that somebody who might have been newly diagnosed, somebody that has just learned about ABCD today, that you want them to know about your organization, what you do, what you guys can do to help them, and anything above?
Yeah, I think the main thing is, just like many other organizations, you are not alone. We're here, and chances are there's someone very similar to yourself that we can get you in touch with so that you can have someone to talk to about how to handle certain situations, or just how you're feeling, or just somebody to vent to. It's okay to call us and be in tears. It's okay to yell at us. It's okay to be angry about this diagnosis. It's okay to be frustrated, like I said, with friends and family, but we're here. We've been here, and we hope to be here for a very long time. We'll get you the emotional support you need. We also will get you resources to those partners that we have that we know do a great job, so you're not out there in Google trying to figure it out on your own. If you think you're the only person or you have this weird situation that nobody else has, please reach out. Even if it's not an exact match, chances are somebody has had a very similar situation, and we will support you as long as you need.
That's amazing, Carrie. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great to be here.